Earlier this week, I was buying ice cream from a street vendor. So while I was there, a woman arrived with her children and she told the vendor, Oga, please give me the one for my level. With a smile on my face, I looked at her and said, madam, everything here is your level now. She just smiled back at me. The vendor brought out two ice creams, one for 500 naira and the other one for 1000 naira. The moment she saw the one of 1000 naira, she screamed, Oga, no, this one is not for me. Her daughter, maybe about 5 years old, stretched out her hand trying to reach for the 1000 naira ice cream. She hits her. Remove your hand, remove your hand. Does your father have money? That single moment opened my eyes to how most of us interact with money. In this your Republic of Africa, I realized that self-image is one of the biggest barriers to wealth. For decades, researchers, including the psychologist Carol Dweck, who is the author of Mindset, have studied how people's self-beliefs influence what they attempt and what they ultimately achieve. This means that our predominant actions are largely driven by what we believe about ourselves. For example, we don't believe that we are going to have that job, so we won't even be bothered to send the application. And that translates directly into we not having the job. We don't believe that we can be wealthy, so we won't even be inspired to take immediate action on the opportunities that can create wealth. And again, this means we remain broke. How you see yourself is equally just as important as what you choose to do. This woman sincerely believes that the 1000 naira ice cream is completely out of her league. Sincerely, that's how she sees herself. That's what she believes about herself. And she's happy. Now you might want to ask, why would anybody be comfortable seeing themselves that way? Well, according to behavioral economists, when people live under continuous economic pressure, it slowly shapes their identity and what they believe is possible. As you can rightly imagine, this woman has been going through some financial struggles, and I can sincerely tell you that there was a time she was positive just like everyone else, and after a long time of believing, being optimistic, she gradually began to define her identity based on her circumstances, based on the limitations imposed by her financial struggles. For most of us with this kind of belief, naturally we start taking actions that reinforce this belief in our daily lives. Now, I want you to observe the sharp contrast between the woman and her daughter. Notice that this little girl hasn't learned economic limits. So in her mind, the 1000 naira ice cream is just any ice cream. So anyone can have it. And since anyone can have it, she too wants to have it. I want to now ask you a question. We can see that this little girl hasn't yet framed herself in an economic box. She hasn't labeled herself, unlike her mother. So here is the question. If you didn't have financial limits, how different would your life be? According to a research published by the World Bank, not only is poverty financial, but it is also psychological. This means that money is not the only thing people struggle with. They also struggle with the identities they are formed around money. So, what does this research have to do with you? This means that everyone on the planet, including you, has a money identity. And since everyone has a money identity, the real question here is, what is your money identity? Your money identity can either be positive or negative. There is no middle ground. And once identities are formed around money, they create the tangible evidence of who we truly are on the inside. We manifest the physical equivalent of who we truly are in our minds. For instance, if your money identity is positive, there is this invisible force that identifies opportunities, even from problems. But even with opportunities right in front of you, the reverse is also true if your identity is negative. I want you to understand that by default, most of us, our natural identity is negative. This negative identity is what creates the barriers that stop most of us from creating wealth. Let's talk about 4 of those barriers and how they show up unconsciously in our daily lives. Number 1, the fear of looking ambitious. So that's what we have here. Number 1, the fear of looking ambitious. Have you noticed that in most of our African communities, people get uncomfortable when someone around them starts thinking big, when someone around them starts dreaming big? They get very uncomfortable. And if an environment is uncomfortable with big dreams, that's where you hear things like, slow down, oh, who do you even think you are? You can't have that kind of life here. I'm very, very sure you can relate. And we humans, we are social animals. We want to be around our friends and our loved ones. We want to be accepted. And because we want to be accepted, we hear things like this around us, what we do is we shrink. We begin to reduce our ambitions just to fit in. I'm just trying to remind you that if you are in this category and you are among people who are not comfortable with big dreams, it's time for you to know what to do. And let's quickly talk about number 2. The number 2 is financial shame. Did you remember how you felt the first time you entered a wealthy environment? I want you to try and remember. And when I say wealthy environment, I'm not only talking about physical places. Of course, physical places are part of it, like high-end neighborhoods, the luxury stuff, and even investment circle. Right? But that's just part of it. It also includes objects, expensive wristwatches, that high-end wedding ring. The fact is, some people feel ashamed getting around things like this. getting around places like this. And because they feel ashamed, they feel uncomfortable, they avoid them altogether. But the irony is, if you constantly avoid places like this, if you constantly avoid getting around wealth places, you won't be able to understand, you won't be able to know how wealth behaves, how money behaves, because money, wealth, and things like this, they have a certain behavior that you cannot know if you are not close. So, as you can hear me, as you are watching me now, I am trying to let you know this moment that if you are like this, it's time for you to move. It's time for you to get close to things like this. It's time for you to enter those neighborhoods. It's time for you to get comfortable around things that are wealth related. For some of you, that means going to that expensive shop, that luxury store. It means that, and sometimes for some of you, that also means trying on that shoe, that expensive shoe. Wear that shoe, feel comfortable, even if you're not ready to buy yet. Of course, who knows? Who cares? Wear it and feel comfortable with it. Now let's talk about the number 3 barrier. The number 3 barrier is the survival mindset. A research on scarcity shows that people who grow up under constant financial pressure are more likely to be short-term focused in their thinking. And you can find this imprint in everything they do. This kind of thinking, this way of thinking is imprinted in everything they do in their daily lives, their activities, their actions, their habits, virtually everything they do. You can see that, this person is short-term focused. I believe that for some of you, you must have seen somebody like that say, why are you so short-term focused? Yeah, don't blame them. Some of these people have lived under constant pressure in their lives, so they just want to survive. This is exactly what happened to the woman in our story. She has this survival mindset. She just wants to survive. And for people like this, you cannot dream. You've not eaten. All you want to do is just survive this moment. You can't dream. That's why this woman, 1,000 naira ice cream was like a big deal. I don't want to go into, I've just remembered something that I wanted to share, but maybe in subsequent videos I'm going to share it. And I believe that you can relate to many of these stories. I'm really being tempted to share this right now, but no. Subsequent videos I'm going to share something related, and it's truly personal. So, building wealth for people like this in this survival mindset, building wealth is not even on their radar. You can say that all they want to do is survive. Now let's talk about the number 4, the KYL mentality. So what is KYL mentality? KYL means know your level. Know your level mentality. I work as an usher in my church, and we literally beat people to sit in front. And I believe you can relate to this. A lot of people avoid front seats in public gatherings. And if you are one of them, you are one of those people who avoid to sit in front. That could be in church, in a seminar, in whatever it is, as long as or as far as public meetings are concerned. Chances are you might be suffering from the KYL mentality. With this kind of mindset, you hear things like, stay on your lane, know your level. So here is the thing, whether you avoid front seats or you accept statements like this, what you are actually implying is wealth is for someone else and not you. That's what it means. And this is where the woman in our story comes again. Remember, she said, this is not for me. So what she's now implying is that there is someone else other than herself who should afford that ice cream, 1,000 naira ice cream. And this is exactly where many people avoid opportunities that have the potential of making them create wealth. Now let's assume that this is a project or this is an opportunity. Indirectly, the woman is saying that this project or this opportunity is not for her. And that's exactly how many of us pass opportunities from ourselves to other people, because we feel that there should be somebody more qualified than ourselves. It's interesting, however, that most of all these things, most of these mindsets are forced on us by our environment. And as we grow, we learn to believe them. Sadly, it is often those people who care about us the most that teach us ignorantly. They ignorantly teach us our limits. You say that, remove your hand, remove your hand. Does your father have money? This woman is already teaching her daughter her limits. She is already teaching her that there are some opportunities that are not for her. These opportunities are for somebody else. The more she hears something like this from her mother, the person, the number one person she loves in the whole world, the more she hears her say things like this to her, the more likely she is going to accept it as she grows up. And the tradition continues. Now, I challenge you today to refuse the idea that some opportunities are not for you. Now, I'm saying all of these just to tell you that conversations about wealth are rarely about money. They are rarely about wealth. Most often, they are more about identity. How do you see yourself? How do you identify yourself? Are you poor in your mind? Are you wealthy in your mind? You must identify yourself. As you can see, all the barriers, all the things, the 4 things we have talked about in this video, they aren't physical. These are things that live in our subconscious, where they influence the stories that we tell ourselves every day. They settle in our minds, and we start telling ourselves the opportunities that are for us and those that are not for us, the things that are meant for us and those that are not meant for us. When we have these things in our minds, they influence our behaviors daily. Many of us, we are not even conscious of all these things. We are not conscious of our intake, the stories that we tell ourselves. When Napoleon Hill wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, he implied that the mind is the first place we cultivate wealth. That is just the implication. And to cultivate wealth in our minds, we have to divorce the stories that we tell ourselves, the self-limiting beliefs, the self-limiting stories that we tell ourselves. We have to exit from those rooms. We have to exit ourselves from such conversations. So we can talk from now to tomorrow, we can walk from now to tomorrow. If we don't change those conversations in our heads, nothing changes. And that's the reality. Nothing changes until you change how you think about yourself. Until you divorce those self-limiting stories that you tell yourself. Change them. Change those stories. Change how you think. And maybe you are a Christian and you sincerely find it challenging to change how you think. I strongly recommend that you meditate on this scripture, Romans 12:2. If you truly believe, you will see the transformational power of the Spirit. Hopefully, this video helps you see how your self-image is costing you your dream life. Maybe you can help someone, your loved one, somebody close to you. Share this video with them and let's begin to erase poverty one after the other from this your republic. Until I see you again, free together.